Hello and welcome to this Lexology webinar. Today's topic, International Corporations, Israeli Subsidiaries 2020.
Okay, so this is just a few welcoming remarks, and I will hand it over to the next speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Mickey. I would like first of all to thank you and our hosts, and of course to you, the audience, for joining us today and letting us out your time to put a glimpse on Israel. My name is Eyal, and I'm the head of directoring of strategy and marketing of Invest in Israel, and we're responsible for all the foreign investments and investors in Israel. We actually were established 4 years ago to help to Israel to bring more and to enlarge the stream of foreign investments into the country. And as you can see in the sheets in front of you, you can see that in the last 4 years, actually, we were able to double the stream of foreign investments into Israel. And not only that, but we also helped to change the bureaucracy and regulations environment, the ease of doing business, let's say, and we jumped in the World Bank Index in 20 places. And that's what it's all about. That's what we are trying to do, to make sure that Israel will be easier for business for you guys, for the private sector. There are today more than 400 multinational companies that already operate in Israel, and I'm not talking only for the startups and the VCs, but I'm talking about real sites and real presence here in Israel. For example, more than 90 companies here already work here in manufacturing facilities, something that people are not thinking about for Israel. Putting that on the side, I want to talk with you about a little bit about the structure of Invest in Israel. In our third slide, you can see the way that we are built, our 4 main pillars, and that's what we are trying to be for you. And we are your one-stop shop, and we will help you throughout all the way that we can do with all our efforts. And the reason that I'm talking here today is to try to show you what our capabilities, that you will know how to use us in the good sense of way, and how we can help you navigate your ways in Israel. So if we will start in our first pillar, but by our research and analysis capabilities, you will be able to see that we are providing a range of capabilities here in Israel. Once we are talking about global trends, we have all kinds of business intelligence to understand the DNA of multinationals and to understand also what our competitors, for example, different governments are doing. And this is helping us to give professional advice to the Israeli government and to change inside reforms. So once again, if we will get out from you all kinds of barriers that you want us to approach for them, we can do it for you. Inside the Israeli ecosystem, we also look in the capabilities of the industry and the regulations. And of course, that's, as I said before, we are here to try and to make it better. Our second pillar is our marketing capabilities. And we have here only 8 minutes of a talking point, but in our website, you can find all the materials that you need. We are always approachable in our social media. And of course, every time that you will have a success story with an Israeli client or in the Israeli ecosystem, we will be more than happy to echo it inside the country. In slide number 6, our investor guidance pillar. That's our third pillar, actually, and it's the main one because that's where we are helping you throughout all the way of the investments. We will take you hand by hand from the initial start of RFIs and all kinds of questionnaires. We will do scouting for you, and also in the end, when you will decide to invest in Israel, we are your lobbying inside the government. We will make sure that you will get all the benefits and grants that you are entitled to. And it's not only for the investments or the investors, it's also for you, the representatives that you are helping them, and you will decide if you want us in the front or if you want us in the back office of the process. And we will not stop only in the investments, but also we have an aftercare service center that will help you in every obstacle and every regulation that will be a barrier for you. We will help you to do that. From today's point of view, what I wanted to talk with you is a little bit about Israel and the scope of the COVID-19 virus. So since the outbreak, Israeli technologies and startups have received global attention from foreign governments and authorities and investors due to our innovative and energetic approach to coping with the threat of on every level in life. As the coronavirus outbreak continues to spread across the world with increasing global cases, Israeli innovations and the cross-governmental support for coronavirus crisis solutions is going even stronger. So the Israeli ecosystem that is characterized by many touching points and collaborations between governments, high-tech, academic, industry, and many more. One of our advantages, for example, is the small size of us. So it allows us to harness innovation and creativity and rapidly partner up all sectors in favor of finding solutions to the corona crisis as a startup nation. And the ministry, for example, the Ministry of Economy, that opened an emergency call center for factories and manufacturers to contact directly for emergency regulations, or the Foreign Trade Administration that set up an export information center, and the Israeli Academy that team up with the national testing efforts and provide for the laboratories for the benefits of the Ministry of Health. All of those quick connections in the Israeli ecosystem allow us to actually to make a faster move and shifting our capabilities. In our next slide, I wanted to show you a little bit more about our capabilities, and we can see the collaborations of the Israeli ecosystem coming together. As the innovation authority, for example, if we are talking about the tech and science for corona, and the Israeli ecosystem coming together as the innovation authority and Ministry of Health calling to submit R&D programs for systems or technological solutions. Or from the defense side, the Israeli aerospace industries has partnered up with local startups to develop ventilators solutions and diagnostic tools. So we talked about so far about the government capabilities, but if you will see also the way that the Israeli industry cope with the coronavirus, you can understand the capabilities that we are not, first of all, that we are not just a startup nation, but also a land of manufacturers. And so thanks to the resourceful of the country highly qualified workforce, for example, coupled with considerable governmental support, Israel industry is likely to come out of this crisis stronger than ever, to my opinion. Israel was quick to respond to the coronavirus that sent the entire world into chaos, and the industry is still going strong despite the COVID-19 outbreak. For example, it's enough to look at the Tel Aviv index to see how successful this effort has been. And many manufacturers have pivoting their technology into products in response to the changing needs of the needs of the market. Just to name a few that you will understand what's going on in Israel right now, Keter, for example, that it's a global manufacturer of outdoor furniture and plastic storage products, shifted its focus to the productions of face shields, or reinventing itself to products like plastic buffers. In the next slides, you will see also more different industries like Elbit Systems that has set up a serial production lines to manufacture thousands of smart automatic ventilation machines, or Sion Medical that has set up production lines of masks in less than a month here in Israel. And Segev Industries is one of the leading metal factories. Think about it. It's a metal factory that's shifting itself to build a zero exposure test kiosk around Israel. So once again, you can understand the importance of the smallness of Israel and the quick response that we can provide, and still in this outbreak can keep on, our industry is keep on working. And it's not only regarding the COVID-19, but also the manufacturer associations of Israel and dozens of manufacturer companies, electronical, medical, metal, as I said, aluminium, have all made changes to logistics and taken safety steps to ensure the continuations of their manufacturing lines. So to sum up, you can see from one side that Israel is open for business from multinational companies. We are open, the government of Israel, doing everything that is in power to do all kinds of cross-governmental support with different sectors, with the private sectors, and the private sector itself and the Israeli industry are keep on going throughout this pandemic, also in those times, and keep on working. And we are more than welcoming all of you to join those efforts, to join to Israel, and you are more than happy to approach us for any assistance along the way. Thank you.